Barry. And Tara Hiddle now wants to talk about why that was not legal. And I think she may have a point because Brenda Wolf is now going over to Nancy Holm to talk about it.
14-16 is what stands on the board right now. Tara Hiddle in her second year with the Doherty Spartans as head coach. The captain of the 2003 state championship team for the Spartans.
Well, Barry, when you get a banner hanging up in your gym, you performed a little bit. you had a pretty good career.
Gatorade Player of the Year, and Tara Hiddle high-fiving her bench as she wins that argument. Doherty point, 17-13.
Now, there's an example, partner, about how a coach can be a benefit to you. At the end of this match, it's this game. I'll get into more about what I'm talking about right now about that.
And this one is out on the serve. Cross set back to serve for Pine Creek. 14 serving 17. And staying under it. Good court awareness for Winnetka. Now Gabby Simpson steps back to serve. Rolled all the way over and too far out. Trying to set up Alyssa Britton, the sophomore. Britton is a freshman, a major contributor to Pine Creek last year, now as a sophomore. 2 more years in this Eagle program to come for her. Blocked at the net, dug out by Bigelow. Set to Simpson, dug out nicely by the Eagles. Set Britton once again, this one a little bit long.
Yeah, Pine Creek on the top.
Point to the Spartans, and Rick Mischka wants a timeout here. It is 20-14 in game number 1 in favor of the Spartans as you take a look at the Spartan huddle.
Now, partner, let me get back to what I was saying about the coaching. Now, when Tara Hiddle saw that was an illegal play, if a coach is not up on the game as much as she is, that point stands for Pine Creek, and you never know what that's going to mean to the outcome of the game. By getting that point reversed, she reversed the tide of the game at that point. And if Doherty goes on to win this first game, as they're in position to do right now, that's where a coach comes in, and that's where a coach pays dividends. That's why you have to be up on your rules. You have to understand the game if you're coaching, because a play like that could be the difference between winning a match and losing a match.
Well, we saw the same thing while we were watching the JVs go between these two teams. Lori Courier had a contested point that she won as the ball played off of the antenna. And that saved her JV a point. Unfortunately, the JV and freshman C squad both lost to Pine Creek for the Spartans. But the varsity in control here, up by 6, is set for Bigelow. And Bigelow follows through into the net. 15 serving, 20 stepping back for the serving duties is going to be Hampstead.
And as players, you have to adjust to officials, but I'll get to that in a second. Another point for Pine Creek. As players, you have to adjust to the officials. These officials are going to call that net play tonight. They've at least established at this point that they're going to. So you need to adjust your game to understand that you can't be as loose around that net as you may have been in other games.
McKibben back into the middle. Simpson hits it over. They set up Swan to the Eagles. Now they set McKibben here on the left. Don't know if that was a mishit or a redirect trying to find this near line, but it is out of bounds.
I thought she was doing it on purpose, partner. I was watching her hand as she hit that ball. I think she directed it in that direction on purpose, but just didn't get it where she wanted it.
And it looks like a rotation that Tara Hiddle is complaining about because she walked over to the floor official tonight and made the point that how many times are they going to get away with that?
She was rather emphatic about that point too, partner. Ooh, nice shot.
The kill put down by Alyssa Britton, the 6'1" sophomore. And Pine Creek staying close. 21, 18 serving 21 here. The back set for Kaylee Washington. And there's a case where Washington didn't have to sky very high, but she was able to see the floor and put it into a wide open middle. And Doherty is open by 20, or up by 4. Bigelow with the serve. And out of bounds. Lead by 5 now as Bigelow steps back. Doherty looking to grab momentum here in game 1.
Pine Creek coach couldn't believe that point with the Doherty.
Brenton a little long and out of bounds. Ritniska up and patrolling now. Game point for game 1. Bigelow with the serve. Trying to serve Spartans into victory in set 1. The set and the block. Dug out by Cross. They feed across to Swan. And the block by Washington. Dug out by Cross. Wow. Now set to Washington. Through the block. Off of Susak. And game 1 goes to the Spartans by the score of 25-18.
Barry, let's take a look. You know, you were telling me about Haley Washington before we came up here tonight, and I had never seen the young lady play, and I wanted to see if the hype was going to meet reality. Watch this point, folks. Watch on the right side of your screen. Watch Haley Washington, 14. Look at the effort, how effortlessly she's able to just get up in the air, see what she wants to get done, and then get it done. That's the biggest part of it, is getting it done.
Hey guys, if you can call up that B-roll, let's take a look. I came out earlier in the week and tried to give the viewers perspective, tried to grab a little perspective for myself. And this is just going to blow your mind. This is a shot. See the ball towards the top of your centimeter screen. That's at 10 feet 8 inches. If you're in the left front quadrant, that's what it looks like when she's up ready to bring it down on top of you. Now here's another side angle. So imagine her coming from the right of your screen up, hitting that, and she's got all that space to the opposite side to hit. 10-8, that represents you could set the ball on top of the antenna, which is 10 foot. And that's what people are looking for.
And Barry,
let me put in this disclaimer. The camera was sitting about 6 foot tall.
Yeah.
And looking up at that.
Imagine yourself, Barry, a 15, 16, 17-year-old varsity volleyball player, and you're watching a young lady that can get up in the air to that length, and then not only get up in the air, but bring it back to you with some steam on it. You're not likely to want to jump and get in front of that, that kind of ball, but you have to. And there's the strength of what Doherty does to you, because Haley Washington's not the only one that can do that to you, partner. They've got 3 or 4 other young ladies who can get up in the air and send that ball screaming back to you.
Well, 10-8 is the top touch for Haley Washington. Gabby Simpson can go to 10-5. Oh yeah, and Tara Hiddle could go to 10-2.
Yeah.
And watching practice as Tara Hiddle was hitting against her top varsity players, she can probably still rise up to about 10-2 and hit it. Dancing around, jumping like she was a 17-year-old again back here at Doherty. Well, we are getting ready to start game number 2. The teams have switch ends.
Well, we're all still 17-year-old, aren't we, partner?
I'm 17.
That's what somebody told me.
We won't talk about the exponent that's up there in the little corner to the right.
Well, we don't even talk about that part.
Cece Simpson comes up and a little bit strong. Tap by the Eagles. This one came in high, and Simpson puts the Spartans on top.
Yeah, she wasn't sure whether she wanted to play that one or not, partner, and by the time she made up her mind, she had already touched it.
So Doherty on this blackout night senior night. McKibben puts one, and it is long.
It was touched, though. It was touched.
Tipped by the Eagles. So Doherty up 2-0. Tara Hiddle there in the bottom corner of your screen. That is not her natural hair color. She dyed it for the blackout. Oh, and a nice set and kill. Getting up for the Eagles was Brzezinski, Kaylin Brzezinski.
If you're a Doherty fan, Barry, and you come to the Spartan volleyball games, you're used to seeing Doherty dominate, but this Pine Creek bunch, they got some talent over there, too.
Dug out by Cross, setting Swan. Swan through the block of Bigelow. And down, making a dive for it was Batchelder, and we are knotted at 2 here.
And I am a big proponent, partner, of playing these games late in the season. There's a point for Doherty.
And the dive for the net by Kristina Susak.
I'm a big proponent of playing these kind of games late in the season because if you're blessed enough to get to the state tournament, these are the kind of teams you're going to face. So you might as well get used to playing these kind of games. And oh, nice shot.
Swan hits through the block of McKibben and Washington. Knotted at 3.
And the more of these games you can get late, partner, the better for your team as you prepare to go to a state tournament.
Brinton with the serve. Dug out by Simpson. Set for more of a backcourt attack by McKibben. Back set near side from McKibben. Dug out nicely. That is Romp. But we had a double hit on the Spartans. So back and forth we go. Tied at 4. Washington with the hit, or with the block. Dug out by the Eagles.
Nice.
Susak up for the block on McKibben.
Nice net play by Pine Creek, Barry. Something I think they're going to have to do a lot of to stay competitive in this match.
5-3 the lead. That dink gets rejected by Washington. Now she'll set. Gabby Simpson get the quick set back. And out of reaction, reaches for the dig as her quick set hit got blocked back. So Doherty trailing by 3 here after taking a big game 1. McKibben comes up and she gets rejected.
Pine Creek right now is absolutely dominating the net play, Barry.
Alyssa Brenton has served 3 straight points. And Pine Creek getting the better of this taller, higher jumping. Once again, the block by Susak. And the short hit by Batchelder.
Let's watch. We got a timeout.
Timeout called by Tara Hiddle.
Barry, let's watch this net play. Remember in the first game I went back and said that Doherty was dominating that net play? Pine Creek may have noticed that also, and they're tightening this thing up a little bit here. We'll roll that play when we get a chance. But we're going to show you how Pine Creek has gotten this 5-point lead because right now they're dominating play at the net. They got at least 4 points in this last volley at the net.
Last year when these two teams met, Pine Creek won the first 2 sets 25-22 and 25-23. Doherty won the next 2, 25-19, 25-23. And then the 5th and final set went 16-14 for the Pine Creek 3-2 win. So these teams going back and forth, not unheard of. 2 years ago, Doherty won the first game, Pine Creek won the next 2, Doherty won the 4th, and then the 5th game was won by Pine Creek.
Watch this net play here, Barry. That's what I was talking about. Watch how, look at that. Right there at the net to dominate play here as Doherty will get a point off the live action.
Washington able to beat the block this time. 4 serving, 8. McKibben with the serving duties. And another unforced error on the Spartans turns it right back over. Cross will now serve for the Eagles. And McKibben changes it up, uses the set as an attack and gets the kill. Good decision by Kiera McKibben. Now, I was asking her, with the jumping ability of Gabby Simpson and Haley Washington, is it nice? Can they clean up your miss hits? Not that she ever have any. She smiled knowing she had miss hits and threw the block and out of bounds, Point Pine Creek. She said it's great to have their athletic ability because they can clean up a miss hit if she happens to miss a set. 10 serving 5 and returning the service error favor was Brenton. Now Batchelder will take over the serving duties for the Spartans. And through the block, they set her the outside. Kristina Susak. Susak hitting it to the right court. Now 11 serving 6. Simpson with a backcourt attack. Bigelow with the block, and she'll put it down. That one was called out.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at that one in the truck next time we have a break. I'm not so sure about that one.
From my angle, partner, I thought it was out. I thought it was a pretty good call, actually.
So back on the serve is Susak. 6-point lead for the Eagles. McKibben goes back. And Simpson blocked at the net. Tegan Skanes and Brenton teaming up on the block.
I'm counting about 6 points in this game, Barry, that Pine Creek has gotten at the net. So Doherty is going to have to understand that they need to tighten up the net play a little bit.
So trailing by 6, 7 serving 6. Gabby Simpson steps back to serve for the Spartans. Out, not touched by the Spartans. And timeout taken by Rick Mishka and the Eagles here in game 2 as they lead 13-8, trying to even this match up at 1 set apiece.
A little surprised at that timeout, partner, because even though Doherty scored those 2 points, he's still in control of what's going on out here. So I'm wondering what he saw that led him to want to get that timeout call.
Got a chance to come out and talk to Tara Hiddle and a couple of the volleyball players. We will have that for you on Friday night as part of our football game coverage. Because, partner, we've got a couple of teams looking for their first wins, but it's always fun when they get together. We're talking Terrors and Spartans.
Well, if it's 0-10 or 10-0, it doesn't matter. We're going to have to separate the stadium a little more than we normally do.
Simpson back to serve again. Throws it towards the baseline. Quick set. Oh, Simpson in position. Lockwood with the hit. And check that. That was Skanes with the hit. Now set outside.
They're going to call it down.
Into the net on the Spartans.
Boy, the Pine Creek coaches were about ready to erupt. They thought they were going to call that against them.
Skanes back to serve now. Far side set from McKibben. Simpson sets the far side for Sierra Simpson. Through the block, but dug out. And then just finding an opening, Megan Hamstead. (15 serving 8).
Now, it looks like Pine Creek has kind of settled down a little bit, Barry. I wonder if it was nerves in that first game. Oh, wow. And as I say that, then they rifle run into the back of their teammate.
Brzezinski's going to wonder what she ever did this games, but it turns over to the Spartans, 9 serving 15.
It seems like Pine Creek has settled down a bit right now, Barry. It's going to be deflected by
in point for Pine Creek. Hempstead back to serve. 16 serving 9 here in game number 2. Simpson has to come all the way towards the bleachers, but digs it out. Hempstead with the back set. Brenton couldn't put it down. Now Cece Simpson with the backcourt attack. Near side set for Brenton. McKibben puts a little dink to it. Kiara McKibben, the senior, so intelligent on the floor, whether she's hitting or whether she's setting. Bigelow steps back to serve for the Spartans. Hempstead with the set, blocked by Washington.
And they're going to call a double hit on the
hit on the Eagles. So 2 straight, and back within 5 are the Spartans. 11 serving 16. McKibben quick sets Washington. Washington tall enough to get it after mistiming it the first time.
Oh!
And the Spartans with some confusion as it was played off of the net.
Yeah, communication error there.
Sophomore Britton steps back to serve. Both of these teams 4-0 as Washington sends one across. The cross goes down, but nothing she could do about it. And that one might have come up there from about 10-3 or 10-4. Haley Washington getting up on that one.
Wherever it came from, I know Cross didn't want no part of it.
McKibben back to serve now. Both of these teams 4-0 in the Colorado Springs Metro League. Quick set for Washington, through the block and still got down into the back corner. Doherty back within 4 now. This is as close as they've been in a while at 13 serving 17.
That's where having that good angle comes in. And Washington has the best angles of anybody on the floor.
And then McKibben with the service error. Turns it right back over. Gym full of both student sections, plenty of adults here. Even some officials coming in to watch this.
Oh, yeah.
Dug out wide by the Spartans.
I'm a little surprised, though, Barry. I think the Pine Creek student section's been pretty reserved tonight.
Timeout on the floor. There you're taking a look at Rick Mishka in the Eagles huddle. Eagles in their green and white. Spartans in their white with the green numerals. Kind of tough when both of these schools, green, white, and blue, are their colors.
Matt Weaver walked in and I teased him a little bit. I said, you left Doherty with the Pine Creek, but you couldn't leave the green and blue alone, could you? Let's take a look at that spike again, Barry, that was set up by Miss Washington's got that point for Doherty. I think we got it wound up, ready to roll. Watch the elevation, folks. Watch the extension and watch the power as it comes down. And Miss Paul said, you know, there's a lot of other places I'd rather be right now. I think she's the sister of the young man that played for Pine Creek last year, a football star up there at Pine Creek.
Gabby Simpson on the front side set. Hampstead sets the backside. And it's pushed out of bounds on the hit by Brenton. And check that was Swan. So Doherty with another chance to make the run. Bonecker with the serve. Hampstead sets Gaines. Hampstead setting the far side, that is Swan. Doherty with a backcourt attack. Out of Romp. And the kill put down by the Eagles. 20 serving 14. Pine Creek trying to solidify. They have led from the point when we were tied at 3. They got 2 points before turning it back over. And that was really the point where they assumed control of game 2 here. Now Bigelow in for Romp.